to the Athletes in Motion podcast, From Race to Recovery, with your hosts, Tom Riegel and Kenny Bailey.
Good morning, Kenny. How are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic, Tom. How are you?
I am fantastic as well.
I would like to introduce you to Jordon Shaw. Jordon, say hello.
Hello.
Hey, Jordan.
How are you all?
Doing well. Thanks for joining us, Jordon. So this is our tri-series. What we've done is this series, hopefully people have been watching. If you haven't, and just to give you a quick update, we are following three athletes. We're following Jordon, Elizabeth, and Sarah through their triathlon journeys from the initial, I think I'm going to sign up for this thing, to what did I just do? So we're excited to have you on. We appreciate you being here. And let's talk triathlon.
Yeah. So what's your story? Yeah. What's your story? So first of all, what distance are you doing?
All right. So I'm doing the 70.3 in Augusta, September.
Okay. And that's what distances are we talking about?
Yeah. So it's a 1.2 mile swim. It is a 56 mile bike, and then a 13.1 mile half marathon.
Okay. And this is your first 70.3. So you've been doing some triathlons. Yes. So how long have you been doing triathlons? And then let's get into what's your story. Why did you join this crazy lifestyle?
So I did my first triathlon in April of last year.
Perfect.
So I've done 3 total. So this, unless I do any between now and then, this will be my 4th one.
Okay.
What were those distances? Yeah, so the first one was a sprint. It was just a 300-meter swim, 11-mile bike, and a 5K run.
Yeah.
And then the second one was a longer sprint. So it was, I think it was a 900-meter swim. Open water is my first open water. And then a 12-mile or 15-mile bike, and then a 5K run as well.
Okay.
And then the third one was an Olympic distance.
Okay. Nice.
So the idea is that you thought, okay, let's just continue graduating distances. Is that that's the next one in line?
That's it. That's exactly right. So just looking to continue to expand myself. And so if you want to kind of get into the story, I can tell you that.
Yeah, let's hear it. What got you going? Did you lose a bet? That was the question I ask everybody.
I lost something. I don't know. No. So 18 months ago, I was 100 pounds heavier than I am today.
Wow.
And I've gotten to this point in my life. I was coming up on my 40th birthday, and I was well overweight. I needed to get in shape, and it was taking a toll on my health. So I said, you know what? I've got a wife and daughter who wants me here longer, so I've got to do something. I got a Peloton to begin with. Started, doing some cycling in the house, and then that kind of led to, okay, let's take the show on the road. So I got a road bike and joined a local cycling club and started riding with those guys on Saturday morning. And then 2022 came along, and I was like, okay, what am I going to do in 2022 to expand myself? And I kind of set this motto for 2022 is do hard things. And as a previous fat guy, the hardest thing I could think of was a triathlon. Matter of fact, it was unfathomable to even consider a triathlon. But without a lot of thought, January of 2022, I signed up for one. And guess what? I didn't have a clue how to swim. So,
nice.
So I was like, okay, I've got a triathlon coming up in April. I've got to figure out how to swim. So found a coach, swam my first lap in March of 2022, and did my first triathlon in April of 2022.
Wow. There you go.
And just has continued to grow since then.
So it's to back up a little bit, it seems like you have this sort of no fear mentality. So you were 100 pounds overweight, you got the Peloton, you start working on the Peloton. Joining a bike group can be a little intimidating, right? Where you're showing up, everyone's, in Lycra, some people are just, getting ready to chomp at the bit to take off and do, 23 average pace, that kind of thing. how much weight loss did you do while you were on the Peloton? And when you showed up how did you feel when you showed up was it a welcoming environment? I'm assuming it is. I mean, I don't want to paint a picture they're all terrible people, but it's, you got this group of fasties, right? You got this group of everybody else.
Right. So fortunately in the cycling group, they have a no man left behind mentality for one. And they also break it up in 3 different groups. So they have an A, B, and C group, and they do different distances and speeds. So obviously starting out, I was in the C group. I think I did, maybe 1 or 2 rides with them. And then I came down to Florida because my family and we come often, probably once every month or 2 to Florida. And I brought my bike with me and found a local cycling group here. Well, they didn't break it up. They just had different rides every day. So probably my 3rd road ride, it was a 43-mile ride. And I was extremely intimidated. Yeah. But fortunately, it's in Florida, so it's flat. So it was like 800 feet of elevation, which in Tennessee we laugh at. Yeah. But I made it. And that was, it was really, again, going to that do hard things kind of, was my motto. And it worked.
What was the trigger point for your weight loss that stuck this time? I'm assuming you tried it other times. It just didn't stick. Was there something where it's like you said, I'm just going to continue to do hard things, or what is it that you felt like it was always reaching for the goal? What was it?
Yeah. So in February 2022, like many, I started working from home, and I was, I had been overweight, but it just got even worse at that point. And I went to the doctor because I was on cholesterol medicine. So I had to do biannual lab work. Went to a doctor who I've been with. I say I have the second longest relationship from my wife as my doctor, because we've been together for 17 years at this point. And so I went to the doctor. He's like, Jordon, you're heavier than you've ever been in your life. And I was like, okay, I've got to do something. Because I was on what I call the fat boy cocktail. I had cholesterol medicine, blood pressure medicine, and reflux medicine. Wow. And I also had a CPAP machine.
Wow.
So that was kind of the trigger points. So, okay, so what am I going to do? And honestly, I looked at weight loss surgery because that was, quick and easy fix. I looked at all the different diet programs out there, and I was like, none of these. I've tried some of them, and you get, lose some weight, but then you gain it back. And a lot of times I gain back more than I started with. Yeah. So I said, you know what? The only tried and true solution here is diet and exercise. So that's what I did.
So how did you handle the nutrition side of things and the diet? We'll call it. I hate using the word diet because diet, I mean, that's been taken over as something that you do just to lose weight, right? And diet is actually what you eat on a regular basis. So nutrition wise, what did you do? How did you handle that? Yeah. I mean, that's usually the challenge, right? How did you do it?
Yeah. So I did a lot of research on this, and what I found is, in order to lose weight, you got to burn more than you take in. Yeah. So not having any type of diet program at all, or any type of diet in place, I first just said, okay, I'm going to limit myself to 2,000 calories a day intake, and then try to burn more than that. Yeah. Well, that's a standard diet for most people is 2,000 calories. But again, I didn't have any type of diet. So did that for about a month. Had, some pretty good successes there. So, okay, now I've been on this regimen for a month. I'm going to step it down. So then I went to 1,700 calories. And keep in mind, I was working out every day. So I did that for another month. And then I stepped it down to 1,500 calories. And that's where I stayed for a good, probably 12 months or so from there. So I got to my lowest weight. And then from there, it's just been maintaining. So now I'm, 18 months into this, I'm, sticking at 2,000 or less calories a day. So I don't continue to add back on the weight that I've had. Sure. And you're right. It is a diet. I can go out and I can have a cheeseburger if I want, but guess what? I don't have the bread because the bread adds extra calories. Yeah. It's not all about, I got to eat salads every day and I got to eat vegetables every day. That's part of it, but that's not all of it.
Yeah, it's getting a better balance to what you're actually eating. I think once you realize what you're eating, and then we all have different emotional ties to food. Some people are more emotional and they eat more, or some people stress and they eat more, or they eat less. And it's just, so everyone has their own signature their relationship with food in that aspect. So that's always fascinating. So how is it working with, I mean, the calorie reduction is great, and that's the way to lose weight. How are you dealing with your training now that you're ramping up a little bit more, and keeping that calorie reduction? Are you finding the workouts are still good? How are you getting through those?
Yeah, so I haven't at this point, started a hardcore training. I'm going to start that really in May, kind of a regimental program.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, I've been, like I just did a half marathon a couple weeks ago, and just
congratulations,
working on.
Nice.
Thank you. Running is kind of the Achilles heel for me. I thought it was swimming because, like I said, I never swam before, but found out I really enjoy swimming, and so that ended up being something that I enjoyed doing. Cycling, I've loved since I first got on a bike, but that running, it literally is a hardship to get out of my house or do anything to go run. I just don't enjoy it as much as I do the others. So, that has been the biggest struggle is, trying to run as much as possible. So what I continue to do is enroll in races, like doing a half marathon. And I'm down in Florida for 2 weeks with my family. So I found a local race here. So next weekend I'm doing a 5K,
Nice.
just to, continuously make sure that I'm pushing myself to train. And if I don't sign up for something, then I don't have anything I'm working for, because even though I'm doing the 70.3, that's in September, it still seems far off to, have the motivation now. So I have to keep those quick motivations or those short-term motivations to keep going.
That's great to have. Yeah.
It sounds like accountability is kind of something that
exactly,
which is great. It's I talk to my wife about this all the time, right? If you don't have a target to go for, you can just sort of languish and sort of do whatever. But if you have this thing a date that's not moving, right? What's fun about these events is they don't care if you're in shape or not in shape, or if you're ready or not ready. That event's going to happen. It's going to happen.
And that's exactly right.
So a couple questions on, you said swim was your most nervous. Did you get a coach? Did you just start jumping in the water? How did you started overcoming that swim sort of deficit?
Yes, I did get a coach. There was a local lady that I had known for quite a while who's really big into swimming. So worked with her a few times, just kind of learned the bases, and then I took it from there. And just started, going and practicing.
How was the open water section? Most people that are beginners, you did your pool swim as your first sprint. Right. Open water. Did you practice open water before you got in, or did you just say, "Hey, head with it. Let's see what happens"?
I showed up for my first triathlon with the open water swim, and I walked out. I saw the lake and said, "Oh, I really got to swim in this."
Well, I love the way you approach your thing. Like,
just doing it. Just gonna show up and
try
do
what
it.
happens.
I love
What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, exactly. It was interesting. So probably 300 meters was, I think, the longest swim I had done, and that was all in the pool. And I show up for this open water swim. It was, I think, 900 meters. And I'm like, okay. So I had this, vision in my head that I was going to have something hang to their rest and I'm a little that's not the you can eventually find a boat or something to grab onto, but they're few and far between.
Yeah, there's not that many. They're there, but they're not that close.
Yeah. So,
yeah,
Jordon.
So
there's a mindset thing that I'm starting to appreciate with you. There's this sort of a lot of people kind of hold back for fear. It seems like your mindset is, hey, let's just give it a try. Like, what's going to happen, right? It seems you're okay with, I don't want to say fumbling around, but you're not. Some people have to feel like they have to be good at something. Okay, I'm talking about myself right now, right? If I don't feel like I'm really good at it, I get nervous showing up to the line. It feels like is your mind, like you said, it's 900. I haven't swum that distance. It's sort of like, well, let's see what happens and just kind of go with the flow. Is that the mindset?
That's exactly right. So, at 41 years old, I don't show up to compete. I show up to complete. And that's really what I'm doing. I'm not going out there to try to beat the 20-year-old guys. I'm not going out there to try to win. I'm going out there for me and my family. And it's something that I've found that I enjoy doing. Mm-hmm. And hey, if I don't do the greatest, that's okay. My goal every time is just to cross that finish line.
That's the way to do it. So what's your definition of failure? What would failure look like to you?
DNF.
Okay. So you set your one goal, but what would that mean? Just I'm trying to get your mindset on how people like, okay, failure if I failed because I didn't finish, but what does that mean? Is that a ruin your day, or you just bounce back and go on and get on to the next one?
At the end of the day, I've still got my job, I still got my family, I still got my health. As long as I'm alive, that's really all that matters.
Perfect.
If I didn't reach that goal this time, guess what? There's another time. Like you said, the races are going to happen. Ironman's not going anywhere, so I'll sign up for another one and try it again.
Yeah. Just keep pushing through. That's the best mindset.
So you've done a sprint, you've done an Olympic. Which part of the half? It sounds like running may be the one you're concerned about, but you just did a half marathon. So congratulations. Of those three disciplines, or of that sort of distance, what's the thing that is sort of you're trying to keep your eye on, that you're nervous about? I guess would be.
I think I'm nervous about all of them. Now that I've done the half marathon, I've done them all the distances independently. Putting them all together in one event is really the thing that makes me nervous, because I have no doubt I'll get through the swim. I have no doubt I'll get through the cycling. But now I've had both of those events. Now I have to run a half marathon, which, by the way, I just did a couple weeks ago, but it almost killed me to just do that one event. So now I have to do it in combination with the other two that I've already completed.
Yeah. And your official training starts in about a month. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the specific type training.
Is it something that you did online? Where did you find that training session? Do you have a coach, or how are you approaching that?
Yeah. So I've signed up for TriTomR currently. And I've been looking at that and figuring out if that's going to work. My problem is that such a busy schedule with work and family and all of that. I don't know that TriTomR, just having the online program and saying, okay, this is what I need to do every week, is going to keep me focused enough. I think I'm probably going to have that personal interaction of a coach that comes to me every week and says, okay, you were supposed to do this, but you didn't. So what are you going to do this next week to make up for it?
Yeah.
So I probably will end up signing up.
Okay.
Yeah, having that extra having that extra accountability.
Looking at some online.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
So why did you choose Augusta? Location?
Well, not necessarily location. It was primarily when I first started looking into the Ironman, it was they said it's the fastest swim in America because you're swimming downriver. So I was like, okay, if I swim fast, I think I'm pretty good on the bike, then that'll give me more time for my run.
There you go.
So that was literally what went into the thought process. Was
nice.
It's a fast swim.
River, yeah, the river swims.
Right, you're driving distance from Nashville, so you're good there.
I am driving. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Perfect. Yeah.
When you started doing this, how was your family's reaction? What was your wife's reaction when you said, "Hey, I'm going to do this triathlon thing"? Was she's like, "Okay," or was all supportive? Or
it's the same reaction today. She's like, "You're crazy. I don't know why you want to do this."
Yeah.
So, keep in mind, my wife, when we first got the Peloton, she thought it would be a clothes hanger, but in order to prove that it wouldn't be, because she's kind of tight with money, she didn't want it to become like clothes. She started using it more than I did.
Nice.
So he has really done a lot of fitness as well. But anytime I bring up a race or something, she's like, "Crazy! I don't know why you want to do that."
That's funny.
Well, it's my way of proving it to myself, I guess.
I did my first half marathon because my wife did one and I didn't, because I was a cyclist and she started running and she finished her first half. I'm like, well, I want to do that. Wait a minute. You can't just have the only PR in the house. And then my daughter did it and crushed us. She was like, 18-year-old cross country girl and 17-year-old cross country and just wiped us out on time. Like, I'm like, that's not even fair. You're 92 pounds. Yeah. So going back to so Jordan, what's interesting with you, like you said, you're trying to stick to a caloric deficit to make sure you're not doing, not gaining stuff. And right now you haven't quite gotten into that training program. They say the fourth discipline is absolutely nutrition, right? Because you can, if you don't fuel this, you move away from eating and you move into fueling, I guess would be the best way to say it. At least that's how I perceive it. Do you have a plan for how you're going to approach that? Do you want to stick to your 2,000 calorie sort of limit, or do you see you're just going to fuel to what makes sense? Or does that concern you that you may be gaining more than you should?
No, that actually is a big concern, and probably another reason why I'll end up working with a coach, because I've done research on how to diet, how to lose weight. I've lost the weight. Now I need to know how to properly fuel for training for 70.3. And I know there's a lot of programs out there, but just programs, there's different things. So determining which one's best is, and I don't know how to do that. So probably another reason I'll go with the coach is to help with that aspect of it.
Okay.
Yes, certainly, because you'll be fueling your workouts and then you'll be eating the rest of the day, and you kind of break it into two buckets that way to make sure that you have enough calories to get the workout done, and then making sure you don't overeat afterwards because you'll be really hungry and you want to recover off of that. Trust us, right, Kenny?
Yeah. I'm currently in the overtrained part, so I got shut down for a few days. So thanks, Tom.
And listen, when you get a coach, Jordan, listen to the coach. If he tells you to take a rest day, take a rest day.
I should know this. I'm actually literally know better, but I was like, well, I didn't get this part done
on your rest day.
Yeah. So.
Days.
Yeah, it was interesting because Jordan, I was a lot like you. I was 30 pounds overweight. I started cycling to lose weight. And then at some point in time, I started losing weight to better cycle, if that makes sense, right? It
does. Yeah.
I was cycling just to, did you see that flip happen? You're like, okay, now I need to do this so I can be better at this, rather than I'm just here to lose weight.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Because even though I have the cycling group I ride with, and it's divided up A, B, and C, so they have someone to go. You're all next group. So my goal, I just can't keep up with them. But I'm thinking, okay, if I was 15 then that's 15 left on the bike, and maybe I can get a few more miles per hour, and I can start keeping up with the A group.
Mm-hmm.
And then that kind of has a chains effect, because then now I'm 15 or a couple miles per hour faster on my ride when I do the 70.3 as well.
Yeah. Are you using a tri bike, or do you have a road bike that you're going to be using on this?
Yeah, right now I have a road bike, so I'm kind of weighing out and trying to figure out if my wife will let me purchase a tri bike, but definitely, and been doing some research there.
Yeah. And you don't, unless you're going to continue doing like 70.3 distance and up and in distance, then you really don't need a tri bike. Because when you do group rides and things, you're not going to want to be on the tri bike.
Now I can't let my wife listen to this, because she'll hear you just say that. That goes against everything I'm telling her.
Well, you Jordan, still need another bike, because
you definitely need a tri bike. And here's why.
So
this is going to be point counterpoint. I think you need a tri bike because you're going to be down in the drops using a different set of muscle groups, and you'll go faster. And then that way you can relax on your bike. Because actually, I am more comfortable on my tri bike than I am on my road bike, because I'm not up on the handles. I'm down on my forearms, and you can get really good power. And you've got the triathlon bug. So here, let's just go ahead and get you a nice tri bike.
Just get fit properly, and then it will actually help your run. It certainly will. A tri bike opens up your hips and sets you with the proper positioning. You'll actually be a little bit better on the run, because you won't be as cramped up on the bike. So it's all. And the race is
even more the reason.
Yeah, and triathlon is all about the run. Everything you do is about the run. The swim, the transitions, the bike, it's all about the run. So,
yeah, good pair of running shoes is probably the best thing you can do. Any injuries you're dealing with, Jordan, or you've been, knock on wood, and did I just ruin it?
Kenny has a habit of jinxing people.
I have a habit of doing that.
Not currently. Now, last year, 6 weeks before my Olympic distance triathlon, I did have a bike wreck, and it was on the trails. Yeah, it was. I went out on I have a mountain bike as well, so went out on the trails, and it was one of those 110-degree days in Tennessee in the middle of the summer. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to put on these knee pads. They're like having sweaters on my knees. And within 15 minutes, I fell and just tore the skin off the front of my knee. Of course, that kills you on running, because then every time you run, it breaks open that sore.
Yeah.
So I've got a picture of me doing my first Olympic distance triathlon, and I have this huge sore on my knee. And it, that put me out of training the way that I wanted to for that. And I really struggled because of that. So I know how important being injury free is.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. The trails and the mountain bikes are awesome, but probably 8 weeks out from your main event, I wouldn't be on them.
Right.
Because you do crash. It's what happens. You tip over. I mean,
He's
great for endurance. So
it's awesome funny how
for endurance. Yeah, it's great to mix it up, and it's good.
Yeah, it's funny how you get closer, you start wrapping yourself in bubble wrap as you get closer to the time, like 2 weeks left to go. It's sort of like, I'm not doing that. Yeah. So
right.
It's like, let's go for a hike. Nope. I'm going to, no.
I missed a race because the week before on a casual, just shakeout ride, I crashed. And I crashed bad and on the road. And missed that race and many months of repair. So.
Oh, wow.
Keep your focus. I lost focus for a half second, and
there you go.
And that was it. That it was just a little too relaxed. I wasn't as focused as I needed to be. So it was a long road back from that. So
Jordan, what did it feel like when you had to slide on Lycra for the first time? Was it a harrowing experience? You're like, I can't believe I'm doing this.
When what was the question? I'm sorry.
When you were had to slide on Lycra shorts for the first time.
Did you hold up the first tri suit that you had and went, what the how do I get into that?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Now, fortunately, I had been wearing cycling clothing, so I was used to the spandex. But when I got the cycling suit, it's okay. This is interesting. Yeah. The first thing I didn't even know what a cycling or a tri suit was, and I was like, okay, so how am I going to go from swimming to cycling and running, and I'm soaking wet, and then I started realizing they made suits for this, and so I got it. It's like, well, this is interesting. And I looked interesting in it. Still think I look interesting in them. And I'm not using interesting as in a good term, but
yeah.
So probably not
it's always
something that
weird.
I want to wear on a daily basis, but
yeah, it's always weird. You have in your mind's eye that you think you look like this pro, and then you get your pictures back from finisher pics, and you look at yourself and like you're scrunched, your face like you got dry sweat all over you. You're like, I don't quite look like the photo I saw on Triathlete magazine. So
it's funny enough. So for my run portion, I typically throw a t-shirt on over my tri-suit just because I know that's when they take a lot of the pictures. I don't want to be in the tri-suit for the pictures.
There you go.
Nice. There you go. Yeah. That works.
So when people ask you about like, hey, when you tell people, hey, I'm doing a triathlon, I'm getting ready for a triathlon. What's their first reaction? Is it generally you're crazy? Is it I don't know how to swim? I know, like you said, you're like, I don't even know if I can do it. I can't swim. When you talk to those folks, how do you let them know that it's not this scary monster?
It's kind of I can relate to that because I was the exact same way. And so a lot of the people I talk to about have known me for a while, and they're like, why are you doing this? And, I tell them the same thing. It's, I'm show up just to complete. It's not this big scary thing that we all think it is. And And to me, it's just so exhilarating to finish one event and then realize, oh, I have another event, and then finish that one. It's like, oh, I still have one more to go. And then you get done, and you're like, you're on top of the world. You just took 3 events that should be hard independently, chained them together, and by the way, you just finished it.
Yeah.
And that is such an exhilarating, it's so cool.
Nice.
Yeah, we tend to agree. So does your family show up with you on these events, or are you kind of solo ranger?
Yeah. So a lot of times they do. And the very first one, my wife shows up, she had on a shirt that said, "But did you die?"
Nice.
And I was like, that's perfect.
Oh yeah.
Because you get to the end of it and you're on top of the world, but you're also exhausted.
Yeah. I say
so
I just
my
die
wife and daughter are both
time.
going down to Augusta with me.
Nice.
Good. Yeah,
right?
My wife's not allowed to show up to these things because when she shows up, I always end up injured. I don't know why I get injured during races when she's there. So I found out that she must be the bad luck thing. So I'm like, you can't show up to my races anymore if I want to finish. Sorry. So she's like, that's fine. I'm not going to spend 7 hours waiting for your ass. So, when you do an Ironman, you're going to be out there for a while. So it's like 9:30 at night. She's already in bed and I'm still out on the course. She's like, I'm going to bed, just text me when you're done. So
Nice.
So Jordon, are you, and this is by no means a pressure thing, is the ultimate goal is to go to the full distance, or are you're going to see how you feel on the half and that's how you feel? And which is perfectly fine. What we're trying to encourage people is it's the end state doesn't have to be the big dog race. The end state could be whatever makes you happy. Having said that, is there some dream of doing that?
And maybe someday down the road, there is no way possible, given my current work schedule, family schedule, and all of that I would ever feel comfortable enough to do a full distance.
Yeah.
So maybe down the road I might, but at this point, a 70.3 is the aspiration that I have. That's where I'm going to finish out. And, I might do one of these a year, whenever other year. I haven't decided, but to do that full distance, I feel like I would definitely need to free up a few hours and several hours in the day from what my current schedule is. And
there's a real conversation you need to have with your family when you say, hey, I'm going to do the full distance, because they joke around that you're going to have Ironman widows, but it's actually true, right? You're 15 hours a day. Hey, what do you want to do on a Friday night? It's like, well, I'm going to sleep on a Friday night because I have a 4-hour bike ride on Saturday and a 3-hour run on Sunday. And after I'm done with them, I'm going to be on the couch as if I just died because, my legs are quivering and I won't be able to get up, and you just need to shove food in and I'm going to sleep for an hour and a half. Right.
Yeah.
So it is a family affair when it comes to that. And so I appreciate the fact that you are acknowledging that's a conversation you need to have with the family. That's a conversation you may have to have with your work, right? That, hey, honestly, I did that with my work. It's like, look, I may be, I'm going to come in dog tired on Monday morning. So if you expect me to be bright and sunny on an 8 a.m. call, it's not going to happen. Right.
Right.
And when they ask you like, hey, what'd you do over the weekend? You're like, look, you just don't want to know. You don't want to know what I did. Just move past it. But I think you bring up a great point. And that's what we're trying to encourage, is for people to find the distance and find the race that makes them get the right balance, that you're still enjoying yourself, that you still feel like you're pushing yourself. That's the ultimate goal, is to enjoy. I know that's a weird word to use, but like you said, be enjoyable at the end of the race, even though you're going to go through some hardship during that race, but that's okay. Because at the end you didn't die and you just accomplished something great. Yeah.
Exactly. And again, I'm not out there to try to prove to anyone else that I can do something. I'm out there to have a good time because I've found that I enjoyed it. Prove it to myself that I can actually do it and complete. And that's it. So, if I never get to a full distance, I never do. That's no big deal.
And that's perfectly fine. Yeah. I always try to encourage people to make it a lifestyle. And the shorter distances make it easy to make it a lifestyle, because you can knock out a sprint race in the morning and then still be, at brunch with the family, afterwards, and you can do multiple races throughout the year instead of one race or one big focus for the year. So it's much more doable to keep it sustained. And because the conditions change year after year, you can do the same race every single year and get a different outcome, time wise, because one year it's windy,
Right.
next year it's hot, next year it's cold. It just kind of mixes it up. So it kind of keeps it fresh that way. And there's so many local races that you can mix it up, and you don't even have to go back and do the exact same race every single year. You can just keep going to different races around here. It's all within driving distance. So,
and a lot of the local races, you become a family. And I'm now part of the Nashville Triathlon Club.
Yep.
So I'm part of the leadership team with that and helping with the website. And so it becomes a family, and you go and you see your family, your weekend family, and you get to interact with those guys. And by the way, you get to go do a race and have a good time at the same time. And you get to the end of it, and even if your immediate family didn't show up, if they slept in on Saturday morning, you have your race family there with you as well.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, and they help hold you accountable, right? When you get there,
100%.
They know you showed up for the race, because they'll give you a little grief if you don't.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and even the opposite. I mean, I remember showing up to a race in my swim. I was at a really low point in my swimming confidence. This was before I hired Tom to help me with my swim, and I just remember I was there with a team, and it was a down, cross the river, down river, up river kind of thing, and I just had one of the colleagues. It's like, look, just aim for that, shoot for that, make sure you keep a nice, consistent thing, and do that. You'll be fine. And it was like, thank you. So sometimes it's also just that reassurance of, you got this kind of deal. So it's not, and then other times it's, I'm going to go kick your butt because, let's have some fun, that kind of thing. So.
How did you find the Nashville Tri Club? I mean, because there's multiple clubs out around here. What was your first exposure to the clubs and getting involved? And now that you're, part of the big team running the club, I mean, what was your draw there?
I really just did research, like you said, to find the clubs around, and there was two that really kind of stuck out. Was the Nashville Tri Club, and then Middle Tennessee Tri Club, and they were based out of Murfreesboro. So I'm in Spring Hill. The meetings and the meetups and all that were typically closer to me for the Nashville Tri Club. So that was kind of the first thing. And then, met with a few people virtually and just really clicked with them. And I was like, you know what, this is perfect. They were looking to fill some leadership positions. My background is in IT, and they needed a website director. So it's like, this is a great fit.
Perfect. That's awesome. Yeah. And much appreciated volunteering on these clubs, because it's needed, and it's great that you're doing that. We, from the different clubs that I've been involved with through the years, it's always great to have people step up and help out, especially when it's something that's your expertise.
Right.
Makes it easier.
Exactly. Yeah, they're looking for a social media director as well. If they had asked me to do that, I probably would not have been, as excited to be a part of it. But, would have helped out where I needed to. But yeah, not like you said, you could do something, take, a couple of your passions and combine them together. Just is a perfect magical experience.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, Jordon, we appreciate you telling us your story today. We applaud you for kind of taking, what you had as a challenge head on and said, hey, I'm going to do something that's hard, hold myself accountable, but also have fun doing it. I think that's really what we hope people would want to do, right? Which is be able to find something they can enjoy, find something that's challenging, and just see what would happen. And if it doesn't turn out perfect, that's okay too. So we're excited to follow you. We can't wait to kind of get some updates when you start officially getting that training program and trying to figure out how to juggle that. Sort of like you said, your time management is going to be probably your biggest challenge, right?
Right.
that and running, which is a challenge for everybody almost, I swear. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, this is going to be exciting. Following your journey on this, this is awesome. We're so glad and appreciative for you for joining us on this.
Yeah, I appreciate the flexibility of being virtual today. Maybe next time we can get together in person. But yeah, I'm excited to be here and help out where I can.
Sweet. Great. Well, thanks. Thank you again. And thanks everybody for listening and watching on our YouTube channel. We appreciate any thoughts, comments, give us thumbs up, gives us lots of feedback. We're on Facebook, on Instagram. You can follow us on any of the socials that way and give us your comments and feedback. And we appreciate everybody. Kenny, thank you. Jordan, thank you. And for everyone, we'll catch you on the next one.